What moment made you say, "Yep, I'm definitely dead," but survived with no major injuries? 1. The parachute deployed but failed to open. That was one of those moments when training kicked in. Cut away the failed chute and deploy the secondary. But for a brief moment, life was about to be over in my mind. 2. The tire popped going over a 2-lane road with steep drops on both sides. My car jerked to the side hard, and my car went sideways. Half my car hung over the side, and luckily, it was low, so it bottomed out. I climbed into the back seat and jumped out the back door. Some dude in a truck pulled me out, and I drove on a flat to the other side and swapped my tire out. 3. My boyfriend finally woke me up shortly after falling asleep in a small upstairs bedroom with a smoldering fire. After we collapsed on the floor and couldn't find the door that was not even 5 feet away, we kept hitting walls and corners and started not comprehending anything. After feeling like I was baking in an oven, I laid my head down on the floor, thinking I'd never see my son again and how sad it was to die. It felt like an eternity, and felt very lonely. My boyfriend somehow found his phone on the floor and called 911. The fire department showed up in 2 seconds but couldn't break down the front door. They shined the flashlight up to the window so he could kick out the AC unit, which he did. They finally came upstairs, and we crawled to them, and they took us straight to the burn unit since they didn't know what shape we were in. I'm pretty sure the entire hospital toured through our room since they've never seen anyone make it out and look the way we did. 4. I was driving down a highway, doing 65 miles per hour, and suddenly, my car started to shake. I tapped the brakes reflexively, and my entire car flipped 180 degrees. I'm now facing oncoming traffic, including a semi-truck. I was so close I couldn't see the driver's compartment. I screamed and jerked the wheel, bringing me in front of a sedan with 2 people screaming as they watched me appear out of nowhere. I kept screaming and floored the gas pedal, made it to the side of the road and cried for a long time. I had blown a rear tire. Hitting the brakes was a terrible choice. 5. I was driving home from college on one of those highways with only 1 lane in either direction and no shoulder. A guy in the oncoming lane didn't see me as I was in a small car. He thought he could pass 4 18-wheelers in one go and pulled into my lane, going at least 90. There was nowhere for me to go. He flew off into the ditch to avoid hitting me head on, which likely did severe damage to his car, but I lived. 6. Went whitewater rafting on the Gauley River, and my raft flipped on Pillow Rock. Scariest moment of my life, but other than unexpectedly swallowing some water and almost vomiting, I came out completely unharmed. 7. I ate one of those Brock's oval-shaped hard candies at home alone when I was 6. It got stuck in my throat. I stood there in shock for a few seconds as I started to realize I couldn't breathe. I ran crazily around the room and ended up colliding hard with the back of the couch, which caused the candy to go flying out. It was the best accidental Heimlich ever. 8. Fell asleep driving through the night with my brothers. They were supposed to stay awake and help me stay awake, but they were out cold. I woke up as the right front tire kissed the gravel on the side of the highway, ripped the wheel to the left, and managed only to spin out. The weird thing was, while it was happening, I was crystal clear, fully focused, and totally in control as if time had slowed down but thinking we were all dead. 9. The hood on my car came open at 60 on the highway and completely blocked my sight in heavy traffic. I panicked and jerked the wheel a little bit, which caused me to fishtail a little bit. I poop you not. My driver's education teacher's words from 5 years prior rang in my head to lean down and look through the space at the bottom of the hood. I pulled over and used some wire in the trunk to keep the hood closed. Anytime you close your hood, make sure it latches securely by pulling it on like you're trying to lift the front of the car off the ground. 10. I was drunk and running in the woods when, bam, barbed wire fence straight to the throat. The last thing I remember was I couldn't breathe and was passing out, and there was blood squirting from my neck. Woke up an hour later and walked home looking like a murder victim. 11. Had a paintball fight on Christmas morning with 2 cousins and their neighbor kid at around 13 years old with our brand new guns we got as gifts. The neighbor got mad, ran home, came back with a shotgun, and pointed it in my face. All I remember is looking at the ground and waiting to die. 12. I had a leg cramp and a momentary blackout when swimming in a diving pool when I was 16. I was so active that I overexerted my limit. Surprisingly, I didn't panic. Just the dreadful thought, oh poop, I'm fugged. The funny thing is that I didn't wiggle my hands out of the pool, panicking like I usually see on the TV, just silently sinking. Good thing the pool guard on duty noticed me and went for my rescue by pulling me out. Wish I had thanked the guard more for saving me instead of me cluelessly sitting outside the lobby after the accident. 13. I'm a skier. On a few occasions, I have caught an edge at a pretty high speed. That moment you feel both skis leave the ground when they're not supposed to is horrifying. Somehow, I've never had anything more than some moderate whiplash and a sprained wrist. 14. Once, as a kid, I was in the backyard swimming while my family was nearby eating dinner at a round table. Most had their backs to me, but I was like 11 and an experienced swimmer. I got into a toddler's float with leg holes. It ended up flipping over, and I was stuck in it. My legs wouldn't come out of the leg holes. I kicked and thrashed as much as I could, but I was so stuck, and you can't hear someone screaming underwater. So many thoughts ran through my head, mostly how sad I was that my parents were about to find me dead in a matter of minutes and how they'd never forgive themselves for allowing me to drown as they talked with friends silently. I tried one more time to kick with all of my might. One leg slipped out, and I could get the other out afterward. I was fine, totally fucking spooked but physically okay.